Hey, this is day 7. Took a second. April 29th, 2024. And I'm sharing a couple of things. So, first of all, after my freak out last night, I was listening to an intuitive reading. And the thing that this woman said in this reading was absolutely mind-blowing. She said, "You are at this moment about to give birth to a new mode of expression, and a powerful one at that." And it just absolutely blew my mind because it's so true. This podcast is raw, like really raw, insanely vulnerable, right? And it's in real time. So what I'm birthing here in that sense, the new mode of expression, is where people tell the bloody raw truth vulnerably right now without waiting to get their feelings under control first, without deciding which parts to leave out, without shame, and maybe with a shitload of fear, but doing it anyways. And this is the way that I express myself always. I've been doing this for a long time, but not on this level as in this publicly. So mostly I share it in my Facebook group when I share this vulnerably, which is called Heartbeats Harbor. If anyone wants to look for that, I will link it in the show notes. It is an amazing village online. So the quote unquote village that we're all searching for, the one that we're missing these days in this day and age. That's what I'm creating in that space, is this online village of support, this circle community, wonderful space of incredible women. And I'd love to have you there if you are not in there already and you are aligned with the purpose of that group. Anyways, not the point of this episode, but that's usually where I share my most vulnerable stuff, with the people that I know and trust, or in other groups on Facebook, that I've come to really love, like spaces that I feel safe in, right? But now, doing this podcast and having it be a public podcast that anyone can find, it's out there for the whole wide world to see. And that is scary as fuck. And I'm doing it anyway because I believe in this type of communication having the power to change the world. And I'm ready to share it. I know last night I almost deleted this podcast because I was having a freak out moment when my wonderful friend shared about it. And I am far beyond that now. I'm grateful to her for sharing. And I just actually ended up sharing about this podcast now. I've posted it on my Facebook profile. I'm starting to share it in other spaces. Up until this point, I had only shared it with 5 people in the world. And last night's complete overhaul of my understanding of how deeply that visibility wound can go, or how deep that visibility wound can go, it just blew my mind. The fear that came up, the self-sabotage that almost happened, like deleting this podcast. Like my mind was blown. So I wanted to just share that, hey, this is the point in this journey where, again, I chose to suspend disbelief, to stick with my challenge that I've set myself for this year, and to absolutely 100% believe that my success is inevitable, and I'm going to be sharing this anyways, so why not now? And I'm sharing it. So I'm sharing it everywhere. And I have also turned on voice note comments. in Spotify now. I didn't even know this was a thing, so I haven't experienced it yet. But if you reply with a voice note, it should give me a notification, and I should be able to interact with you about the episodes. So feel free to do that if there's something that you want to share about your journey that maybe aligns with what you're hearing in my journey on this podcast, or supportive things that you want to share, or whatever. I'm not going to encourage, obviously, if there's some sort of bashing going on, I'll do whatever I can to block that kind of crap out. But that option is open because I really do want this to be raw and vulnerable and just true. So it's not a thing where I'm cutting myself off from people, quote unquote, below me. Okay, where I don't believe anyone is below me. I don't believe that, I'm better because I'm posting this in such a public way with a podcast. I'm human, I'm here, and I love to get to know people, and I love to talk to people. So if you're listening and you have something that you want to share, I would love to hear it. And I'm not going to give any kind of a timeline for when I'll do that, okay? I'm not going to commit to a timeline, but I will go back and listen to those when they come up. I haven't yet asked, but if you are listening to this episode, to any of the episodes, and you enjoy them, I would love ratings, because I do want this message to get out to the world. I do want to share this powerful shift that people can have. I want more people to have this shift. This is not a closed door thing. This is not a paid thing. This is not I'm special and doing something that you can't do thing. This is specifically so that people can see that they can do it too. And so I want this shared. I want more people to see it. So follow the podcast, share the episodes if you want, share the podcast if you want. Please, if you love it, give it a rating. And I don't know what else you can do. Just share it around, tell people about it if you think that it would benefit them. And let's keep on growing this movement, of suspending disbelief, because it really, really, really changes lives. And I can say that even at this point where I'm at day 7 of 365, because I have suspended disbelief in the past. I have never done it so formally as I'm doing it right now, but I have done this and I have achieved incredible results. And so I know it's possible. And not to mention having listened to that episode that triggered this whole podcast, the Manifestation Babe episode by Catherine Zenkina, about suspending disbelief, right? About scripting her life in a year and believing that her success is inevitable, and the experiment that blew up her business and all of that. That episode, she proved it. I've proved it before. I know that this is big. I know that the shifts that have already been coming in for me in just this 1 week have been massive. And I have already had so many women saying, I'm joining the movement with you. I'm joining the movement with you. I'm ready to suspend disbelief. I'm ready to believe that my success is inevitable. And today, not only was it shared about, not only am I posting about it, my other dear friend from my unofficial mastermind is going to start her own version of this podcast doing the same thing. She's calling it a little bit of a different name, obviously, but she is accepting the challenge. And just the amount of growth in 1 week to have new people accepting the challenge, new people suspending disbelief, and starting their own kind of verbal journal like I'm doing here, because it's so raw, it's so authentic, it's so powerful and impactful to communicate in this way, this not leaving parts out way, right? Not hiding the feelings and the rawness and the hard as fuck parts along the way. this is what I believe the future of communication will be, because it's so powerful that I do believe that more and more people will start to do this, and not necessarily in a podcast format, right? In whatever format is right for them, but in this really raw, vulnerable, real-time way. That's this new mode of expression that I'm bringing to the world, and I'm owning that fully right here and now, and that is fucking massive. That is creating ripples already in 1 week. Imagine what I'm going to do in 365 days. So this episode is a little bit less of a wah sob fest and more of a power up. Shit's getting real. Here come the big, huge manifestations. And I am so freaking excited to start sharing as they roll in. Okay, I'm recording today's episode in 2 pieces, so there's probably a weird split between the first part and this, but moving on. I have 2 more things that I want to share today. One is that before all of this began, before I read or listened to that episode of the Manifestation Babe podcast, before that fated walk, right, where I got the inspiration for this, I had been receiving for several days, and repeatedly and from different sources, the message that something was shifting for me and nothing could stop this. And then I got in different words, nothing can stop you. And then I got I heard it multiple different ways from multiple different sources, that nothing could stop me with what was coming out for me, the freedom and the growth that I was going to be experiencing, and so on. And so the reason I'm sharing that is that the conversation I had with my unofficial mastermind ladies today was had me just sobbing. Like, I was just sobbing with gratitude, with just, my mind is so blown at the momentum that this has already built. So one of the ladies was, I had said, doing her own podcast. She has decided that she's going to do hers in Telegram, and anyone who wants to join the channel can, but for now, the thought of a podcast and figuring it out and setting it up is holding her back. So she said, okay, what do I do? And Telegram popped up. That's the way that she's going, and it's so perfectly aligned for her and how she does things. And she said it's already on her phone, it's there, and she's starting tonight. And I just got, like, my scalp will tingle when something is super aligned, and like when there's clarity coming in and things like that. And that, it just hit me so hard, like, yep, that is so perfect. And right after that, the other lady said, oh, blogging really appeals to me. So she was talking about doing posts on social media. And sorry for, like, smacking sounds and whatnot. My dog is chewing his bone and being ridiculous. But the other lady said blogging really appeals to her, and she is building out a publishing company, and blogging is just an incredible piece of alignment for her to be doing instead of doing a separate podcast or something like that. And literally my response was, yes, you guys, I'm crying and bouncing up and down in excitement listening to you pick your paths. And I couldn't stop. I was crying and crying. And one of the ladies, Kelly, she said, this is a movement you've started and no one can stop it. And that just brought back to mind the fact that I kept on getting that message that what was coming for me, nobody could stop it. Nobody could stop it. Nobody could stop me. Nobody could stop what was coming. And I didn't know what this was going to be when I started this podcast. I just followed the nudges, right? And it has literally been 7 days. And I have people saying things like this. You've started a movement. Nothing can stop this now. And I just was crying. Like, I could not stop crying. it was such a powerful moment of realization of just, this is going to be bigger than I ever imagined. And the power of decision, the power of suspending disbelief and deciding that my success is inevitable, right? How quickly that affects things. And another piece of conversation that I had with them before was around how what was coming up for someone else was how they wanted to know the how. They were struggling with suspending disbelief because they didn't know how it could happen. And my response, and I'm going to share it here because I know that this is such a common piece that comes up for people. So I want it to be able to help more people. But what I said is, just saying suspending disbelief isn't enough. You really have to do it. So releasing the how. The universe can bring this to me however it wants, but my success is inevitable and I'm always on the right path. And in the meantime, I'm going to take aligned action and build my business. You could literally, if we're talking about money, you could win that amount in the lottery. Your business grows without making a damn cent. Or you could meet an older individual who wants to give their money away before they die. Or it could be through your business. It could be things you think you're going to create already, or it could be something completely new. And holding on to the how and needing to know how is what keeps us from getting there. So that was a really powerful piece that I wanted to share. And last but absolutely not least, and this was so touching for me, I had put in my Facebook Messenger, like up at the top, they have the little thing where you can put your little comment for the day. And I had put suspending disbelief. I did a thing. And one of the ladies in my community, her name is Janine Lebsack, and she did give me permission to use her name. She is incredible. She is one of my favorite people in the world. She just has the most incredibly authentic energy, and I absolutely adore her. But she responded to that comment that I had put on there saying, "Are you at a place where you feel comfortable sharing?" And I told her to check out the pinned post that I had done on my profile because I shared today about this project. And right as I was sending this, I was saying, I know you're going to want to do it too. The time changed to 3:33, my time. And I don't know about you, but angel numbers, synchronicities, whatever, these kinds of things propel me along my path so much all the time. So when you notice them, recognize them as confirmation from your angels, your guides, your spirit team, whatever you want to call it, that is backing you, the universe, source, God. When you see these things, it's just like, yep, you're right. Yes, you're on the right path. Yes, keep going. Don't give up, right? And so I always try to bring attention to them when I notice them. And I'm going to share what her response to me was once she had read my post on Facebook. And I do have her permission for this. So she said, okay, I've read it, not the comments yet. Did you know that I've spent all weekend sharing, crying, blabbing into my phone about my mental or medical issues and surviving drug withdrawal and how I'm coming out on the other side with professional achievements and trusting myself before any medical professionals? You must have known on an energetic level because I'm spinning it into a series called My Mental Health and Medical Trauma Journey. Dude, I'm floored right now and I'm shaking because holy actual fuck, you knew and I didn't share it with anyone. Love you to the 1000th power. And my response to her was, haha, yes to motherfucking sharing the real and raw right now and not hiding the shitty parts. Massive change this is going to create in the world. I really feel it in my bones. Like it's way outside of my control. I asked for permission of sharing without her name. And she said, yes, please do, because I'm holy fuck choirs singing inspired by you. Please use my name because I'm not hiding myself and my struggles anymore, which absolutely blew my mind, you guys. This woman has been through so much. I'm going to link her podcast. It's called House of a Writer. in tonight's episode's show comments or show notes. I'll link it below. You guys, I'm so overwhelmed by the influx that's come in since I started sharing this. Sorry that I'm stumbling over my words. This is the point, right? This is the raw, uncut. We're sharing it. It's real. And she was doing this at the same time. So it wasn't even that I inspired her to do this. Now we're doing this alongside each other. But this is the movement, you guys. This is the change that I'm bringing right now. And I am so touched. I'm so blown away. And I will continue to share the things that come out of this, the things that are shared with me. There's already so many of them that I feel like I need something even aside from this podcast to like hold them all in one place to keep a record of it, because I'm just like, holy crap, there's so much, and people are, running to join in. Like, just, it's so powerful. And like was predicted for me multiple times in the week before this happened, nothing can stop this. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop us, you guys. Our success is inevitable, and we are always in the right place at the right time. And just keep on remembering to suspend disbelief, to stop worrying about the how, to allow it to come however it's going to come, and to trust that the difficulties that arise along the way are going to be worth it. They're going to be so fucking worth it, you guys. I have already had so many come up, and it's already so worth it. And it's not about $1. It's not about fame or fortune, right? It's about changing people's lives from the struggle and the misery and the feeling like they're not enough into what I think, even though it's messy as fuck, is the most beautiful, raw state of being and of living, where we get to share the truth, where we get to share reality, and it's on another level. Anyways, I don't want to ramble for too long because this episode is already quite long. But you guys, I'm so blown away. Again, follow the show. The more followers it has, the more people see it. The more times it's shared, the more people see it. And again, I would love to hear if you are experiencing things. Tell me all about it in a voice note, which you can do in the comments on Spotify, or leave a review if you want to share with people how this is impacting your life. You guys, I'm already so grateful. I'm so blown away. And before I start sobbing on the podcast, I love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow.